Hey everyone, welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Katie, and today I'm doing my August reading wrap up. We're going to do things a little bit differently this time around because I have not updated my reading journal and I don't have the time. I have so much to do this next week, it's insane. And I'm just hoping that I can get everything done. So I figured, why not? We're going to do something a little bit different where I'm going to go and do it based off when I read it. So whatever Goodreads has like based off of when I read it from August 1st all the way through the end of August, that's how we're going to do it. I'm going to try to, share all the details that I can without my reading journal. I probably won't have stats at the end though this time around, but that's okay. We all need a little bit of a break. I read 17 books this month, which has been a little bit on the lower end for me, but honestly, I really needed it. I also got a ton of review books done, which I'm so happy with because sometimes it's just nice to catch up on stuff that you're far behind in. I'm still currently reading 2 review books, which I was hoping to finish before the end of the month, but we'll have to talk about those next month. So that's okay. Things happen, but we're catching up and I am so happy about that. So let's go ahead and talk about the books that I read. The first one that I finished this month was Tempest at Annabelle's Lighthouse by Jamie Jo Wright. I ended up giving this one 4 stars. Yes, 4 stars. And I just really enjoyed this one. It was one of the most twisty storylines that I have read from Jamie Jo Wright, so I really enjoyed that. So in this one, we're following a girl who, in 1874, a girl wakes up and she pretty much doesn't remember anything. And this family that takes her in is kind of acting all mysterious. They're saying things like, you shouldn't go trying to figure out your past, some things are happening. And she's like, these people know more than they're telling. Like, do these people actually really know me or are they strangers? And then in the present timeline, we're following a girl who is visiting this lighthouse for research for her book. And she discovers a mysterious figure, which, of course, it's not a real ghost because it's Jamie Jo Wright. She's going to have Scooby-Doo things. But I just really loved the atmosphere of the lighthouse, and I enjoyed both the storylines. And I think Pete, who plays the husband of the woman in the contemporary timeline, is probably one of my favorites that Jamie has written. I just really enjoyed Pete. I thought he was very true to life of what a lot of husbands really are like, and I just appreciated that because I saw my dad in this storyline a little bit with Pete, and I just really enjoyed the story as a whole, and I really enjoyed the ending. The Pursuit of Elena Bradford by Anne H. Gabbert. I thoroughly enjoyed this one so much. I'll also link down my my playlist for all of my reviews if you want to see like full-length reviews or whatever. But I love this one. This one's actually probably my favorite by the author. I've read, I think, 3, maybe 4 of her books so far, and this one is by far my favorite. This one had romance, a little bit of mystery involved. I just really enjoyed it. So in this one, we're following a woman who is named Elena, and their father has passed away and leaves the family very much in debt. Well, her mother has pretty much only enough money to visit like this, I guess, spring water retreat where they're hoping that Elena will find a husband. So there's a couple of prospects for marriage involved in this storyline, and the author did a great job at keeping me guessing which one she was going to take. But I was really hoping for the one, so you'll have to read out and find out which one Elena chooses. But I just loved, as I said, love the storyline. There's a tad bit of like an open ending, like I don't know, there could be like an idea for like a second book after this, honestly. But I just really enjoyed it. Loved the setting, loved the characters, and I just had a really great time with it. I give this one 5 stars, but it could have potential of being 6 stars. I really enjoyed this one. Capture the Moment by Suzanne Woods Fisher. I really enjoyed this one. This was another 5-star read for me and probably my favorite by the author I've read so far. This is about a woman who has the potential to have her photography in National Geographic magazine. And so she goes to the Grand Teton Parks to try to take a photograph of like a well-known tagged bear in that park. And I guess it's pretty rare to get a photo of this bear, and so she decides to go. Well, she's basically been relegated to zoos because that's where she lives. And so she takes photos in zoos. So she's pretty much kind of ridiculed for that. She's not really a nature photographer. Because of that, people ridicule her. And so she is on the hunt for this bear along with the park ranger during the summer there. And I just loved the atmosphere in this story. It was so great. I loved the Grand Teton Park. I love the natural dangers of that area, especially like during that transition between spring and summer. And I just really, really enjoyed the story as a whole. So I give this one 5 stars. Really enjoyed it. Perilous Tides by Elizabeth Goddard, I gave 4 stars to. I really enjoyed this one. This was book 2 in the Hidden Bay series. And in this one, we're following a woman who is kind of in hiding. Her mother has passed away from a suspicious occurrence, and she's a forensic artist, and she's pretty much told to run away and hide. Well, her father contacts her one day saying to meet him somewhere, and she goes, and she witnesses a murder happen. But nobody really believes her, what's going on, and she is rescued by an ex-boyfriend of hers that they kind of connect kind of by accident. And I just really enjoyed their story, and it was like high stakes all the way. It had a very intriguing storyline. I wasn't expecting where it was going to go, but I had a really, really great time with this book, and I'm loving this series as a whole, so I can't wait for the next book to come out. Seize the Dating Coach by Laura Longa. This was one of the last books I read on my Kindle Unlimited, and I thoroughly enjoyed this one. I love her books, and I'm so glad that I didn't stop with book 1 because I read one of her books, and it was very close to being an open door romance. The lead up to it was quite heavy on the spice level. It was closed door, but it was a little too heavy. I did continue reading her books, and her spice levels have actually gone down from there, and there's really hasn't been anything even close to that first book. So I'm really happy with this one. I loved it. I loved the characters. Laura Longa is actually one of my favorite authors for romance connections. I just feel like our characters have such a genuine connection with each other, and I just love that. So in this one, we're following a girl who is pretty much, she has a little bit of, I would say, not necessarily social anxiety, but she's very introverted, kind of in the middle, but she has had this huge crush on this guy for so long. Well, she finally decides she needs to step up and say hi, say something. So she does, but an accident occurs, and she ends up being rescued by the new librarian in the town. Well, the librarian also has some problems. He's kind of struggling with the town, treating him like an outsider. They don't want an outsider running their library system. So they pretty much task each other. Listen, I'll help you get the crush, and if you help me get the townspeople on my side. So I just loved their friendship and camaraderie throughout the story. I thought it was really great, and the romance was kind of like a little bit of a slow build up, but I thoroughly enjoyed this story, and I absolutely loved it. So yeah, I can't wait for the next in the series. I think it's gonna be great, and I'm kind of hoping it's the sister in the next book, but I might not be. I don't know. Actually, it could be either sister. I just have to find out, I guess, when the next one comes out. The Sands of Sea Blue Beach by Rachel Hauck. This is her newest release this summer, and I really enjoyed it. I think I gave this one 4 stars. Oh, I gave Seize the Dating Coach 5 stars. It could potentially be 6 stars, though. But Sands of Sea Blue Beach was 4 stars for me, and I really enjoyed this one. This is about a woman named Emery, and she is having kind of a tumultuous relationship with her sisters and her family because her father remarried after the passing of her mom. And so she's got new sisters. She's pretty much kind of stuck on the outside a little bit. And so she decides to go back to this beachside town where she gets a job as like the editor-in-chief of the local newspaper. But of course, a lot of the memories come to pass, as well as a past boyfriend. And it's kind of it is a dual timeline where we're following her past summers with this boy that she met years ago, and kind of their romance then versus maybe the rekindling of their romance now. And I just really enjoyed it. I thought the setting, especially if you've read her last book, which was The Starlight. Meet Me at the Starlight, you will see characters and settings in this book as well from that, as well as other characters from her other books as well, which I just thought was so much fun. I love kind of the interconnecting of her characters. It's just so much fun, especially if you've read more than just this one book. You'll definitely see the connections. Quest of the Dragon's Princess by Lee Watts. Thank you to the author for sending me a copy because I really enjoyed this one. I think I ended up giving this one 4 stars as well, and I really enjoyed it. I loved the humor. It was funny. It was sweet. It is a clean romance, and it also has a few faith elements throughout as well, but it's not super strong in that. But I just loved it. So in this one, we're following a princess who has pretty much this dragon companion, and her mother both have this stone that kind of connects them to the dragon's heart, and she is on the kind of the path of, I need to get married because I'm the heir of the kingdom. So she decides to go on a quest to find her true love. She finds a book that says, if you take this portal to this other land, if you make it by the time the sun sets 3 days from now, whatever it is, you will find your true love. So she decides to take the quest. The ruler of a different kingdom who wanted to marry her, he's like, he's hemming and hawing. He's not the greatest, if I'm being honest, but he decides to go after her, but he tasks his knight to go after her instead, because obviously he doesn't want to go after her. I mean, really, I guess he's not that desperate for a wife, I guess, but he decides to send his knight on the quest to go find the princess. So he goes into the portal as well to find her. And I just loved it. I especially loved all the side characters. The giants, or the ogres? Are the ogres or giants? Giants. The giants in this story were probably my favorites. I loved the giants. They were one of my favorites in this series. You will also see tons of nods to classic fairy tales, to some movies. Like I recognized like The Court Jester with Danny Kaye. I noticed some lines that were from that movie, and so I messaged her, and so it was fun kind of seeing that connection, that I actually knew where those lines came from. But it was just a fun time. If you want a sweet, cozy fantasy romance, just definitely check this out. It's clean, it's fun, and highly recommend. Shadowed Witness by Angela Carlisle. This is book 2 in her The Secrets of Kincaid series, and I gave this one 3.5 stars. I did still really enjoy it. I would have liked a little bit more of that photography background with this character, since I love photography, and our main character is a photographer. Well, she ends up witnessing a murder, but she's found unconscious at the end of a staircase, and the mayor finds her. And so the mayor's saying that, he knows she's had health issues, and she could have just tripped and fallen down the stairs, bonked her head, is what she saw really what she saw? So she's questioning, did she actually see something? And then we're following the policeman who is trying to help her try to figure out if it's really going on and what's happening. And I really enjoyed the story. I really liked the action. There were a few slow parts in here, but overall I really did enjoy this one. And I think this is the second book. I think I did say it's the second book, because I believe I read the first one. Yes, I did. And I think I enjoyed the first book a little bit more, but I can't wait for the third book in the series. So just to see, either is there a connection between characters? I don't know, but we'll see once the third book comes out. The Watchers by A.M. Shine. I read this. I think I read it because, well, it was on my list, like my long TBR, but I think I had like a book prompt or something, or I just wanted kind of something different. But this is very reminiscent of, I would say, Darcy Coates, who I do love the majority of her works. I don't like her ghost stories, but I do like more of her sci-fi thrillers. So this one definitely reminded me more of her sci-fi thriller series, where there's like these kind of alien creatures or whatever. But we're following this group of people who end up in this bunker place in the middle of the woods, where if they leave during the night, there are these creatures that are watching them and will attack at night. So they can only leave during the daytime. So it's a little bit like The Bird Box as well, by Josh Malerman. I gave this one 2 stars because honestly, it did feel very much not copy and paste, but it was, again, very reminiscent of those 2 books. And also there was quite a bit of language in it. It was more in the beginning of the book, thankfully. Like, there wasn't too much afterwards, but I'm like, really, like, I don't like language in my book. I really, really do not. And so, Yeah, so it was only 2 stars, and yeah, it was on audio, so I just quickly went through it, but I just wasn't a fan of it as much as other books that I've read in a similar genre. I guess you would say sci-fi thriller, I guess. Next, I binge read a bunch, well, not a bunch, 3. I binge read 3 books in a new manga series, and I'm actually really enjoying it. It's called Trapped by His Love, and I guess the entire series is Trapped by His Love, The Duke's Unexpected Bride. And I read volume 1, 2, and 3. I gave volumes 1 and 3 4 stars, and volume 2 3 stars. And I am interested to continue. I don't know when the next one comes out, but it's pretty good so far. It's about this woman who, I think they're in college, and her family tasks her to a arranged marriage. Well, she doesn't want to marry this man. He pretty much treated her horribly when she was a child. She wants nothing to do with him. So she decides to pretty much go up and ask the first random dude that comes up to her to marry her at the school. And so she asks this perfect stranger, her head's down, she doesn't even know what he looks like, but she just asks him to marry her. And surprisingly, he says yes. And so we're kind of following their journey, how their journeys connect, and I just really enjoy their storyline together, and kind of seeing, like, you know, the side characters kind of pulling them away from each other. And I really am enjoying the series. It's quite different. And so far it's been pretty clean. Yeah, there really hasn't been anything in it. No swearing, I don't believe. And the romance has been pretty clean as well. So as long as it keeps going in that direction, I'll continue reading it. From the Valley We Rise by Elizabeth Musser. This is the second book I've read by the author, and she is fast becoming one of my favorite authors. This is set during World War II, and we're following, I believe, 3 or 4 different characters. But we're following Isabel, who is tested after her father sacrifices his life to protect her involvement in the French resistance. And so she's dedicated to hiding Jewish children around the village of Sisteron. And then we're following an army chaplain named Peter Christensen, who has traveled from Kentucky and his service in North Africa to where around her location, and kind of their possible shared history. But I really enjoy this. And then we're following a 15-year-old boy named Rene, who narrowly escapes a German attack that pretty much devastates his family. So he takes the girl that they've been taking care of and runs. And I just loved their interconnected storylines. She did such a fantastic job at connecting each of the characters and how they connected to each other. And I just loved it. I really did. And I pretty much sped through this book because I loved it so much. If I took a little bit more time, I probably would have cried because I really enjoyed it. This was a 5-star read. I think I might have given it 6 stars actually. I want to double check because it was just so good. Okay, I did give it 5 stars, but again, had the potential to be 6 stars. It was that good. These Blue Mountains by Sarah Loudon Thomas. This was another one that took me by surprise, and I loved it. In this one, we're following a German pianist named Hedda, and Hedda's fiance went missing, presumed dead, 15 years ago. And she pretty much, she's lived her life, always wondering what really happened to him. She's been taking care of his mother and stayed in Germany until one day when she discovers a newspaper that has proof of his death. So she goes to America to exhume his body and take it back to Germany with her. But there's quite the problem going on with that, though. When they exhume his body out of the ground, it's not his body. So they're trying to figure out what's going on. Her and this lovely man who she met, who's a policeman in America, they try to both discover what is really going on. And I just loved the mystery of it all, the intense reality of she's been suffering for 15 years. What if he's really alive? What's going on? And I thoroughly enjoyed this. And again, this author, I am so glad. I've read 3 of her books. The first book was just okay to me. Second 2 I read by this author have been 5 stars. Amazing. And I'm so happy that I gave this author a second chance because such a fantastic read and I loved it so much. And we're on to the last 3 books that I have for you. The next one is, well, I was going to say I can do that one. Let's do the one that I don't own a copy of first. Let's do Ariadne and the Legend of the Fire Rose by Christy A. Cole. Thank you, Christine, for sending me that arc last year. I finally got to it. I'm so sorry it's been taken so long to get to it, but I thoroughly enjoyed it and I can't wait for book 2. So if you send me a copy of book 2, I will get to it sooner than a year. But I thoroughly enjoyed this one. I think I gave it 4.5 stars, I believe. Yes, 4.5 stars. I really enjoyed this book. I just think when I read a book kind of more slowly, it's not quite 5 stars, but overall a 5-star read, honestly. It was very, very good. I loved the storyline. My favorite character was actually one of the friends of Ariadne, Maggie. She was actually one of my favorites. I loved her so much. And I loved the treeling creatures. I thought they were very unique and different. I love when authors go above and beyond and create like these entire new species or new creatures. I just love that. So I really, really enjoyed this book. This is about Ariadne, and Ariadne is found in the woods, and she pretty much is running from danger. Her parents are with her, and her mother tells her to go. Keep going and don't look back. And so she goes to this manor home. She's told to go to this manor home and show them her necklace. Well, she does, and she's taken into their household where these girls are kind of trained in weaponry and trained in taking care of gardens as well and being ladies, but just kind of like there's so many mysterious things happening going on. And so Ariadne grows up in this manor home and becomes friends with these girls. But all these, of course, mysterious things are happening. There's secret passageways. And I had a great time reading this one. It was so much fun. So thank you, Christy, for allowing me to read it. And I would definitely read the next in the series. It was really good. The last 2 books I have for you, the first one is Splendor of the Land by Connellan Cosette. This is book 3, and I believe there's going to be at least one more. I don't know if it's going to be a novella or a full-length novel, but there's going to be at least one more because we definitely have some story that's not wrapped up yet. But in this one, we're following Gabriel, and he's a soldier in the company of Jonathan, son of King Saul. And he dreams of becoming this great crafter of weapons with his own hands. That's what he wants to do. He wants to be great in the army. Well, he's pretty much demoted and said, you need to go to this army and prove yourself. So he needs to go to this clan and tell them, you need to leave because this land is not safe anymore. And in that land, he discovers a woman named Zahava, who's a gifted goldsmith, but she needs to keep that a secret because she's a woman during biblical times, and they're pretty much told, a woman can't do those types of things. So she keeps it secret, but she has helped her father really establish his business and creates beautiful pieces. Well, their romance doesn't go exactly to plan, and I just love this story. It was so exciting. This whole series has been just top-notch for me. It's one of my favorites. I think I gave it 4.5 stars as well. Oh no, I did give it 5 stars. So it is 5 stars. I really did enjoy it though. I have been loving these characters. I can't wait to see what the next one, where that takes us, and just kind of, I would say they're interconnected standalones, but you kind of see how each of the characters from book 1 kind of dive into their own paths in the sequential books. But I really enjoyed this one a lot. Then the last book, which I just finished the other day, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm so happy that I finally finished it because this book will be in my top favorites. I love this author so much. She's one of my favorites. I'm so excited. So thank you to the author. Actually, I believe honestly, most of the books I showed you today were honestly kindly sent to me by the publishers or authors. So thank you very much. And as always, I always give you my honest opinions of books, no matter what. It just happened to be a really great batch, this one. So this one, Hearts Away, 6 stars. Absolutely loved it. It's just, chef's kiss. I love rom-coms. I love rom-coms. I don't know what it is about rom-coms, but just, I needed this book. And it was kind of funny. I actually started this back in June, I think. But then I got super, super busy. And then I didn't pick it up until this last week. Well, I'm glad I did because I have been just an emotional anxiety wreck for like the past couple weeks. And I'm like, you know what? I just need to take a day off and just read. And this did it for me. Let me tell you, it really calmed down my anxiety just reading this book. I loved it. So Hearts Away, by Shannon Sue Dunlap. This is book 2 in her, and I can't remember the title of the series. Let me think. I read book 1, loved it. Okay, it doesn't say. It just says Love Overboard series. So Hearts Away, Love Overboard is the first book. But this is the second book, and we're following, again, the older shippers on this ship trying to matchmake their way into other people's lives, and I just loved it. Oh, I cannot get enough of these old shippers. They are so funny. They remind me of the Golden Girls, but like just, I love them. I love each and every one of them. So in this one I'm following, I think her name's Abby. Yes, Abby. And she is like a bright, sunny childcare worker on the cruise ship. And she tasks the shippers, the matchmakers, to find her a match because she really wants to get married. She's been wanting to get married since book 1. She was a side character in book 1. But I loved her story. And then we're following a divorced lawyer, Spencer, who he also has a 5-year-old daughter in tow. And his goal is to persuade his mother, Daisy, to leave her ridiculous cruise ship lifestyle and come back home. And I just loved it. Spencer was adorable. He and his little girl were just so sweet. Oh, like I seriously wanted to wrap them up myself in a hug and take them home. Like I would easily take Spencer and his daughter home with me. They were so cute. But I just loved this story. Honestly, I could not choose a favorite, but I think Hearts Away might even top Love Overboard. And you know Love Overboard is on my favorite shelf. Somewhere back there. It is oh no, wait, is it right there? No. It's somewhere. Oh, it is. It's back there. It's like the red spine you can see behind the leaves. But honestly, this one is going to be on my favorite shelf. I love this book so much. And I can't get enough of these characters. They are so great. And I cannot wait for book 3. I don't know if it's going to go farther than that, but I hope it does, honestly, because these characters are so much fun. All right, so that is the last book that I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this little impromptu reading wrap up because it didn't end up exactly, how my wrap ups usually wrap up. But you know what? That's okay. It actually ended up being shorter today than my usual wrap ups. Also, the fact that I only had 17 books versus like 25 to 30 to talk about with you all. So that helped as well. But I hope you all had a wonderful summer. Can't believe fall is already almost upon us at the end of September. So let me know how your weather is. I would love to know. Is it still hot near you? Is it cooling down? It's cooling down near me, but we're supposed to have like a hot patch next week, so we'll see how it goes out. But I hope you all have a wonderful day, and let me know some of your new or least favorite reads of August were. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you all in the next video.